The Garmin Forerunner 45. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Garmin Forerunner 45. Now, I've had this watch for about 6 months now, probably a little bit more. And I've got to say, in comparison to the last smartwatch I was using, which was the Samsung Gear Fit 2 Pro, this disaster, this is far better. We'll start off with the battery on this bad boy. The battery on this was marketed at 4 to 7 days, and I gotta say it does really live up to that, depending on what exactly it is you're doing, how many workouts, how long your runs are. You will get between the 4 to 7 days. I typically get about 5 days between running and going to the gym, which is really good. Now, all the information on the Garmin that I've seen is very accurate. They really do live up to their reputation. The GPS on the Garmin is very accurate in comparison to the Samsung that I was using before. The Garmin's GPS is very accurate. Now, on the GPS itself, there are 3 settings. You have just the normal GPS, GPS plus GLONASS, and GPS plus Galileo. Now, I was fine with just GPS, but it really depends on your area and which one will give you the best GPS signal for the most accurate distance tracking. So the activities you can track on this, there is a bunch. Defaultly on the watch, there is running, treadmill, bike, walking, cardio, and then I've added on other. But you can basically, once you have the Garmin app on your phone, you can add tons of activities. I think there's things like rowing and all sorts of other things. I use other from when I'm in the gym. So you do really have a wide range of activities that you can track. The watch is fully waterproof, so you will be able to wear it swimming. However, there is no activity tracking for swimming, so you won't be able to count laps. But you can wear the watch when you're swimming, or if you go kayaking, or whatever you want to do in the water, you can do that because it's got a, I'll have it along here, the water resistance. I think it's a 50-meter water resistance, I think maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Now, there is also a timer, stopwatch, and alarm feature on the watch, which is quite handy. The watch is quite customizable as well. There's, I think, 6 default watch faces already on the watch that you can swap between. I picked one that's quite simple and isn't very cluttered because that's the way I like it. However, you can get more from the app, which is, there's a ton and tons on tons of watch faces that you can download onto the watch. Now, there is a bunch of screens on the watch displaying tons of different data. Now, the only 2 that I really use are the health stats and the My Day screens. On the health stats screen, it displays your heart rate, your stress level, and your body battery. Now, the body battery is a pretty cool feature that is on most Garmin watches, which basically just says how tired you are, given all the information the watch has, and how it basically gives an indication of, you know, how much you should be resting after all your working out and whatnot. Now, on the My Day screen, it has things like activities you've done today. So I did a 2-kilometer run today, so that's on the screen. My active minutes, my steps, and my calories burned today. Now, if you want to see all this information in more detail, of course, you can go onto the Garmin app on your phone and look at it all, and it'll give you tons and tons of information. Now, there is other screens on the watch as well. I think there's a weather one, there's one for notifications from your phone, there's so many. There's history. I don't know what that screen is. It's always there. It's like to do with the last 30 days, comparing data. I don't really look at it, so I can't really talk about it too much because it wouldn't be fair. Now, there are 2 sizes of this watch. There's the Garmin Forerunner 45, which is the one I have, and the Garmin Forerunner 45, or S45. And the only difference is literally the size of the screen, and I think the one I have has a slightly bigger battery, so it's going to last a little bit longer than if you got the S45. Now, I don't exactly have the biggest of heckin' wrists, so I think most people would be fine with just the Forerunner 45. And then you get the bigger battery as well, which I think is very much worth it. Now, something else about this watch is that it isn't always on display. Most smartwatches, you'll have to raise your wrist to turn the screen on, but this watch, the screen is always on. Now, there is a backlight that you can turn on by clicking one button, which is really helpful when you're in bed at night and you want to look at the time or whatever. Now, something else about this watch that you may or may not like is that it's not touchscreen. I found when I was using the Samsung, which was a touchscreen watch, that if it was raining or whatever, the screen wasn't very responsive. With the Garmin, everything's done by the buttons, so you won't have this problem, which I think is good because it's just easier. It's much simpler and you don't have to just spend ages scrolling when you're on a run. You can just hit a button and that's it. You're sorted. Now the watch comes in around 130-ish euros, depending on where you go to get it, which I think is very affordable for everything that you're getting with this watch, and it's a very good watch for that price. I have to say, like, I'm very happy with the watch overall. There are other features on it, like you can decline and answer calls from it, so it's things like that are kind of handy. I don't really use them too much myself, which is why I didn't really talk about them too much, but if it's useful to you, they are there. So if you enjoyed, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new, make sure to smash that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the summer, and I don't know why you wouldn't have already smashed that goddamn subscribe button. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.